Hey again, guys, and welcome back. Today I can only assemble 4 items for a mailbag because I am in the middle of the Chinese Springtime Festival and coronavirus altogether slump. But I do need the stuff that's inside these packages, so I figured I would show you what's inside and we'll open them together. Let's get started. First one up is this one here, 100 times terminal. Certainly sounds like it. $5.13, ordered January 3rd, came in February 28th. Sure hope there's 100 in here. Sweet. Let's take a closer look at these guys. So what these things are little fork terminals. And they're for an upcoming project, something I'm working on, but it's taking a lot more time than I thought. But they're supposed to go inside of these binding posts. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the right size, but it should be. So basically I want to link a bunch of wire inside these binding posts. And let's see. They're big enough. They have a little bit of play, but that might be a good thing, because then I can kind of maneuver the wire in as needed. I also have kind of this style of binding post, this guy here, which I like to use. I have one on my bench top here. See, I'm kind of a unit with 2 of these inside. These are a little bit more pricey. I'll make sure they fit these too. There, they fit. They have a little bit of wiggle though. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. The way CRI LED uses these, and I don't know if it's these specifically, is he actually pulls the plastic off, which I'm going to try to do. I don't really need this to be insulated. I'm working on a sort of like complete beginner's guide. There we go, to like circuits, and I'd like to make a big sort of demo unit using these wires to link it together. That looks like it would probably work. Let's see if I can grab some of the wire I'm expecting to use. So this guy here, this is the eBay PVC stuff that was actually supposed to be silicone stuff, but whatever. It's kind of one of those things where it took so long to come in that the listing was gone out of my history. So it's not like it's something I could contest, really. So that's a very loose fit, but hopefully I'll be able to crimp it down. I do have a selection of crimpers. This one is supposed to be for the insulated style. So I got that one. This is for RF stuff. And this one is supposed to be for sort of the style that grabs onto the wire. So let's try this insulated one here, even though it's not an insulated connector. Maybe put that on there. Just curious, before I do the real project, how well this is going to work, even if it's not ideal. I'll try to do this on camera. So it crushed down nicely. Okay, not enough. So that's not going to work per se. You can try it with the insulation still on. Might give us a little bit more squish, but really this wire, 20 gauge, that's a bit too small for this. I do have some 18 gauge stuff I could probably use. So that crimped properly. So that's actually fine. So if I decide to go with insulated, I could always go that direction. But I sort of like taking this off and using uninsulated. I could also crush it with pliers, because we're not talking about super high current stuff here. But I guess that I'll have to figure out when the time comes. So I've got 100 of these, well, I guess 98 of these now. And they did cost quite a bit of money. As you saw, it was like 5 something. But it's far cheaper than buying them locally. Probably by a factor of 5. So that's pretty neat. If you really want to see my Circuit Basics series, let me know in the comments below. A, the comments are good for the algorithm, and B, I'll know how to prioritize my future videos. Next one up, we have this one, which is 1 times connector. So I guess I'm sensing a bit of a theme here. This cost almost as much, $4.56. I bought it on January 10th. I got it in on March 2nd. Alright, let's take a closer look at these guys. What these guys are knockoff Wago style lever connectors. So these guys, I think there's 20 of them in here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Yep, 20 of them. And they have these little spring-loaded levers. Wow, that's a heavy freaking lever. And basically they're shorted on the inside. And so when you put a wire in here and close this lever, and be careful because you can get pinched, they're very heavy springs, a little sort of gripping jaws inside grab and hold tightly onto wires. They usually have a stripping guide, yeah, right here. So they'll tell you need to strip about this much of the wire. I still haven't bought strippers. I probably should have bought strippers. And no, not that kind. Get your mind out of the gutter. Alright, so put this wire in. And even though this is thin wire, and this is rated to AC voltage, the legitimate ones are. I don't know if this one specifically is. And you close this lever, and pretty much with, I won't say any amount of force, but it takes quite a bit of force, there we go, to pull it out, and see if I even damaged the wire. So it takes a lot of force to get this 20 gauge wire out. Stuff like 14 gauge wire, not a chance. So this stuff's pretty good. I have some already, but as you can tell, I've been using them. I only have 4 left. So it was time to restock. I do have some projects that have these 3-wire ones that really only require 2 wires, so I'll probably just swap those out, which is the other neat part, is you can just lift this lever up and swap the wire out for something else. So that is pretty cool. I recommend you get some of these, keep them in stock. They're very low resistance. I do plan on doing a resistance check on a whole bunch of different types of connectors, but yeah, these guys are very low resistance. They're very useful to have around. I wouldn't trust them inside of my walls, mind you, because even though the original Wagos are rated for 200 whatever volts from the European market, I think Wago is actually Vago from Germany, but these guys are knockoffs, so there's no way to ensure the quality of these. So I would only use them where I can monitor them. I don't think I would be able to sleep soundly with this in my wall instead of the rated wire nuts. But yeah, definitely you should get yourself some of these. They come in 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty much any amount of wires that you want. So get some and keep them in stock. On to the next ones. Next one up is this one here, which is nicely labeled L298N. And I don't know what these Chinese characters mean, but I ordered it January 22nd. It came on March. I didn't write it down. Interesting. March 5th, I think. $1.82. I won this as an auction. And this seller was actually really nice because they had shipped it, like let's say late February. It wasn't shipped yet. I contacted them. They said the coronavirus stuff was messing up all their orders. He said he was going into work the next day and he would ship it then. I said, don't worry, take your time, stay safe. And he seemed to actually really appreciate this. So basically, if you're dealing with Chinese sellers, be a freaking human. Okay, there's a huge travesty going through their country right now. But this guy said, thanks very much, and he's like, no, scheduled to go back to work. So okay, so anyways, he was a really nice guy, so I gave him some leeway, and it came really quickly. So he must have paid for better shipping for this, which is really good on him. He really knows how to do business, so I will be doing business with him again. And here it is, the L298N. And this is supposed to be a dual motor driver and a stepper motor driver. So one or the other. Basically, you can control two motors, and there's a mode to set it into stepper mode. So you control this with a low voltage, like an Arduino type signal, and it PWMs the motor on any one of these two outputs. So you have output 1 and 2, or I think it's A and B in this case. Enable input 1, input 2, input 3, input 4, ENB, I'm not sure. But there's two motors. There we go. Output 1, output 2, output 4, output 3. So yeah, you must be able to configure this internally to run a stepper motor or two motors or whatever. You've got 4 single outputs that you can move however way. And it's a full H-bridge driver, I believe, on both outputs. So you can drive forward, backwards, or use them interchangeably, however you need. Now this will be a little bit more involved to test, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it in a mailbag video. So let's go look at the details on the eBay page, and then we can move on to the last item. So here we are on the eBay page for the L298N, and this is how much I paid, $183, the winning bid. I'm not sure how much they are now, but I think if we scroll up a little bit, yeah, you'll see they're quite a bit more expensive now. So that's pretty good. Go down here, that looks exactly what we have. All right, main chip, ST Corporation, low heat, outstanding anti-interference performance. Working power up to 36 volts, so that's actually pretty good, and 3 amp max, and continuous 2 amps, so 25 watts. It's actually a pretty strong driver. It's pretty nice. 1 2-phase stepper motor, or 1 4-phase stepper motor, or 2 DC motors. So again, like I said, you can control 2 regular motors or or 1 stepper motor. Has a 78M05, which would be a 5-volt regulator for the device power. When drive over 12 volts, please use external 5-volt power as power supply. Okay, that's good. Probably because you're going to be drawing too much, you're going to be killing too much voltage to get the 5 volts out. Large capacity filters capacitance. Yep, that's good. So drive voltage 5 to 35 volts, logic voltage 5 volts. That's perfect for Arduino. Logic current up to 36 milliamps. That's good. 25 watts, little thing. That's good. Do not input voltage to +5 supply interface. However, letting out 5 volts for external use is available. Sure. So when enable A, enable in 1, in 2, control for out 1, out 2. When enable B is in 3 and 4 for out 3 and out 4. That's good. So basically, when we set this up, we can go look at the datasheet for the L298N, and then see if we can run a motor off of it. Well, that's pretty cool. And the final item of the day is this one here from Amazon. Now this cost me a lot of money. This was $37 or $38 Canadian. And when you see what this is, you will think I am absolutely crazy for spending that much money. I think some of you see it already. Yeah, there's the spoilers right there. there we go. This is a roll of LED strip, and yeah, you're gonna think I'm nuts, but follow along with this here. These here are an LED strip, high current. There's the 5630 size, but they are CRI 90 plus. If you do any kind of photography or video work, you will know that CRI stands for Color Rendering Index, and the higher the CRI, the more faithfully represented the colors are. Now, these colors on my bench may not be represented in my camera exactly the way I see it because of my cheap spotlight on that side and my dollar store LED bulb on that side. These LEDs are supposed to greatly improve the accuracy of the colors that are filmed. So these are 90 plus CRI. They make 95. They make 80 plus, 85, 90, 95, 97, 98, 99, and I think they go up to 100. But as you climb up the scale of the CRI, it gets exponentially more expensive. So that being said, I'm going to plug these things in. I'm going to take a little length out. I'm going to plug these things in with a couple of colored objects here, and we will see if the camera picks them up differently. I plan on making a huge comprehensive video on high CRI LEDs, and I plan on doing it soon, because if these things are not in a market improvement, I'm just going to send them back to Amazon. That's kind of what Amazon is for. They say if you get screwed, you get your money back. So hopefully I didn't get screwed, because I don't really want my money back. I want these things to work. You get these a little bit cheaper on eBay, but not a lot cheaper. So let me set up my power supply and I'll bring you back then. Looks like I am all set up here. I put a 4 amp current limit, 12 volt power or voltage on this. Now, 5630s are super bright, but they also require a lot of current. So I'm going to have this sort of pointed up like this, but you got to be careful. You need a beefy power supply. This thing should be beefy enough. We'll see. Let's give this a shot and see where it goes from there. These should be neutral white color. There we go. 12 volts. Wow, I am basically current limiting at 4 amps. And if I pull this away, yeah, it does seem to represent colors a bit better, but I would have to light up my whole scene with this and let the camera go auto mode. But yeah, it's like, my god, it's nearly current limiting. So that's a wattage. Let me just check here. Yeah, it's like 50 watts. The strip is getting warm to my hands. That's crazy. So it's 12 volts, nearly 4 amps. So you can tell, like, this thing needs a heck of a power supply. And in fact, this roll here, where everything's rolled up, is actually getting quite warm. So I'm going to have to abandon this test. But you can see, like, colors do look pretty nice, but we won't know until we do an A-B comparison. And basically my plan here is that if these are very nice, if they represent colors accurately and they're worth the 30 some bucks, well then they're going to replace my main lights on either side here. They're going to be a little bit more off to the side so that I don't get as much glare, and I'll have better color reproduction. But more than that, my wife, who streams on Twitch, she will have flatter lights instead of these massive studio softboxes that she has in her streaming room right now. And these things are more efficient than the studio CFLs she is using, compact fluorescent bulbs. Therefore, we should be using less electricity, heat up the room less, and have a more accurate representation of her beautiful face. So, pretty neat. I hope you're as excited as I am to find out if these things are the bee's knees or if they're just garbage. So yeah, make sure you tell me in the comments below if you're excited about it. And so this cool Chinese conundrum makes up today's mailbag. I'd like to give a special thanks to my Patreon patrons who make this kind of stuff possible. If you want to be as awesome as they are, check the link in the description to become a patron. I have started making Patreon semi-exclusive content, so it's videos that they get way earlier than you guys, like weeks, months, perhaps. And they're getting more and more behind-the-scenes updates, and I'll probably start posting videos there to gauge interest on separate topics, things that are not really electronics related. But if you're just here to watch my videos and comment, a big thank you to you as well, because YouTube needs those views, those comments, those thumbs ups to recommend my channel to other people, thus generating more ad revenue and giving me a better chance of staying afloat. So for all of you who stopped by to watch this video, thanks again for watching.